everyone. So we have completed till now 6 topics. Now let us start the 7th one, which is all about collisions. I hope you all are following and understanding everything and practicing, and I hope these are helpful in understanding few very important topics in physics. So let us start the collisions topic with the definition. What is the meaning of collision first? Hitting of two bodies, any two bodies, when they hit each other, then it is called collision. Now here, if we consider what exactly we study is when a collision takes place, after collision what happens? It is not like after some time. What is just before collision and then what is just after collision? And what is that is, what are the initial velocities, what are the final velocities, what are the initial linear momentum, what are the final linear momentum, what about the kinetic energies, whether there is a conservation of energy or not, and linear momentum is conserved or not. So like this, different type of questions we will study. But before entering into collisions, we need to understand three things. Let us try to understand those three things, which are, one is conservation of linear momentum, and another one is the concept of line of impact, and the third one is the coefficient of restitution. So here the very first one, law of conservation of linear momentum. What is law of conservation of linear momentum? We have seen law of conservation of mechanical energy. So the conservation word means something remains constant. So here conservation of linear momentum. So linear momentum of the system remains constant when there is no external force. If the external force acting on the system is 0, then the total linear momentum of the system remains constant. So here the linear momentum of the system means, let's take for example M1, M2. It is a system which are moving with some velocities u1, u2. Then the total linear momentum of the system is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. Of course, linear momentum is a vector quantity. You must consider direction also. Here both are moving in same direction, that's why I am telling plus. If they are moving in opposite direction, then you have to take minus, like m1 u1 minus m2 u2. If they are moving in perpendicular direction, then you have to consider m1 u1 bar plus m2 u2 bar, vector form you have to consider. So depending upon the question given, you have to take. Then after collision, their velocity is changed to something else, v1, v2. So linear momentum of m1 changed, linear momentum of m2 changed, but the linear momentum of the system remains constant under the concept of if external force on the system is 0. External force on the system means what? One external agent other than part of system, if it acts some force, then it is called external force. But during collision, one particle apply force on the other one and other will apply on the first one. But that force is like a internal force, not external force. That's why linear momentum remains conserved. Linear momentum is always conserved in any type of collision. But the kinetic energy may be conserved or may not be conserved. So depending on that, we divide the collisions into two types. If the if the kinetic energy is conserved, then the collision is called elastic collision. If the kinetic energy is not conserved, then the collision is inelastic collision. So like that, The final conclusion is for every collision linear momentum must be conserved, but kinetic energy may be conserved or may not be conserved. Now let us see one or two examples based on this conservation of linear momentum so that you will understand how to solve the questions. The one very simple linear momentum, like one particle m1 is moving with velocity u1 along x-axis and another particle m2 is moving along y-axis with velocity u2, and they said they collided each other at one point and they are moving with one common velocity. So they are asking what is the magnitude of final common velocity. So it is like a collision. So you can apply law of conservation of linear momentum. Then take initial linear momentum. Initially linear momentum of m1 is m1 u1, but it is moving along x-axis. So how do you take the direction? I cap. Similarly m2 u2 along j cap. After collision, now it is like one system m1 plus m2 moving with one common velocity, but we don't know what is the direction. Let's take something v bar. Then what is the final linear momentum? m1 plus m2 into v bar. Now final linear momentum must be equal to initial linear momentum. Therefore m1 plus m2 v bar should be equal to m1 u1 I cap plus m2 u2 j cap. So what is v bar will become m1 u1 I cap plus m2 u2 j cap whole divided by m1 plus m2. If they give the values m1, m2, u1, u2, then you can find the magnitude. This is one simple type of question. And one more well-known model is there very frequently and many times they have asked, that is depending upon the explosion. Like they will give the question, a bomb is at rest having mass something m. It is at rest initially. Now suddenly it divided into three parts. Due to explosion. So explosion is a internal force. So internal force doesn't affect the total linear momentum of the system. So even after explosion, the parts of the body move such that the final linear momentum of the system must be 0. Suppose they have given the ratio of three parts like 1:1:3. So one is, let's take m, another is, let's take m, and third one you take it as 3m. So that the ratio will become what? mm 3m, 1:1:3. Now they will give specified condition, like you consider two equal parts are moving in perpendicular direction with a speed u1 u2. One is moving with u1, another is moving with u2. Two perpendicular directions means you consider like x and y. Then what about the third one? Some other direction we don't know. Let's take the velocity v bar. What is the initial linear momentum? 0, as the bomb is at rest. What about the final linear momentum now? The final linear momentum is m1 u1 I cap plus m1 is nothing but m into u2 j cap plus 3m into v bar. This should be what? 0, because this should be equal to initial linear momentum. Now 3m v bar equal to, these two you bring this side, minus m if you take common, u1 I cap plus u2 j cap, m cancel. So v bar is minus u1 I cap minus u2 j cap whole divided by 3. If they give u1 u2 values, then you can get the v bar, or you can get the magnitude of third part velocity. So this is the way they can ask questions based on conservation of linear momentum. And if you get perfection with this, then only you can apply in the question solving collisions also, because there also you will apply this same rule like law of conservation of linear momentum. Let us take the second one. What is that? Line of impact. Line of impact means when two bodies collide each other, then the surfaces which are in contact during the collision, so there if you draw the perpendicular, the line perpendicular to the surfaces in contact during collision is called line of impact, and the perpendicular one is called tangent. And what is the importance is, along this line of impact only they get contact force while colliding each other. So due to that force, their momentum changes, their velocity component changes. That's why when collision takes place, the velocity component along line of impact only changes. The other component remains constant. Let's take one example for that. Consider one surface and one ball of mass m moving with a velocity u and hitting the surface and then rebounding. Let's take the angle is something theta with vertical. Now what are the velocity components? This is theta means this is theta. So this is u cos theta and this is u sin theta. Now if you consider here during collision, this is the surfaces which are in contact. Now if you draw the line, this is the line perpendicular to the surfaces which are in contact. Now only along this the velocity component changes. That means this u cos theta changes after collision. Either the magnitude also changes or just direction changes, like it may become u sin theta upward, u cos theta upward, but u sin theta remains same because along the tangent velocity components remains same. So this way the u cos theta changes. Then what is the initial velocity? U sin theta I cap minus u cos theta j cap. What is the final velocity? U sin theta I cap plus u cos theta j cap. Because here it is downward, here it is upward. Then what is the change in velocity? Final minus initial. So it will become 2u cos theta j cap. Now let us understand the third thing, that is coefficient of restitution. What is this coefficient of restitution? A coefficient which acts like a factor which controls or which enables the surface to change the velocities of the bodies which collide each other. Like you take a ball and throw it on the concrete surface. It will rebound with greater velocity. If you take the same ball and throw it to the sand surface, then the ball will not rebound to greater height. Sometimes it may not rebound. It will dip into the sand. So depending upon the nature, the velocity after rebounding changes. That factor which controls those speeds or which affects the velocities after collision, that is called as coefficient of restitution. Something is trying to resist the velocities after collision, that's why it is called coefficient of restitution. And whatever we discuss, like the collision is of two types, elastic and inelastic collision. For perfectly elastic collision, the E value is 1. E value 1 means what? V2 minus V1 equal to U1 minus U2. This is the relative velocity after collision. This is the relative velocity before collision. That means the velocity of separation equal to the velocity of approach if E equal to 1. If you consider the perfectly inelastic collision, then E equal to 0 implies V1 equal to V2. That means the bodies move together after collision. Like a bullet fired from a gun, if it hits with a box or something body, and once it gets embedded inside the body, then the body and the bullet moves together. That kind of collision, what we call it as perfectly inelastic collision. So here the coefficient of restitution can be defined only along this line of impact, because the velocity changes only along what? Line of impact. So let us try to understand one or two examples based on this coefficient of restitution. One of the example is free fall. Like one object is falling freely from certain height. So what is the initial velocity? 0. Now it will hit the ground with some velocity. Let's take the initial velocity is something v, just before hitting first collision. So what it will become? So the velocity just before hitting the ground will become root 2gh, which we have studied in kinematics, motion under gravity. Now you consider this is the first collision. So when you consider the first collision, v is the velocity just before collision. Now consider v1 is the velocity just after collision. Now here the ball is hitting vertically down. So this is the line of impact, vertical line. So along this you can define coefficient of restitution. What is that? v2 minus v1 by u1 minus u2. But here one object is ball, another object is surface. So surface is at rest only. So if you take surface is first body, u1, v1 both are 0. If you consider the ball is second body, then u2 is v, v2 is v1, u2 before collision, v2 after collision. Now v2 is v1 minus v1 is 0 divided by u1 0 minus u2 is v. So that it will become v1 by v, magnitude, modulus. So v1 will become ev. What is this? Speed after first collision. E power how much it came? 1. Similarly you take what is the velocity after second collision. So it will go up and come back with the same v1. Then it will rebound with v2. What is v2? The velocity after second collision. So velocity after second collision, what it will become if you apply the same procedure? E times velocity just before collision is v1. So v1 is velocity just before second collision, v2 is velocity just after second collision. So that v2 equal to e square v. Similarly, you can generalize that after nth collision, Vn equal to e power n into v. This is the velocity after nth collision. Similarly, you can take the formula maximum height reached after first collision, after second collision. What is the maximum height reached? U square by 2g. So that after n collisions, it will become like e power 2n into h. You substitute the v value. So that e power 2n. After third collision, what is the height reached? Then e power 2 into 3 into h. So these are the two important formulas which are related to collision, coefficient of restitution and free fall. Similarly, you can understand one more question that is related to projectile motion, where we again use the concept of coefficient of restitution. Like you consider a body projected with an initial speed u at an angle theta, then it will go and hit at some point. So here it reaches with the same velocity like u cos theta, u sin theta. Initially also u cos theta and finally also u cos theta. Initially u sin theta upward, but finally u sin theta downward. Only direction changes. Of course, we neglect the air resistance. That also you have to remember. Now they will ask you what is the range after second collision, first collision or second collision, or what is the velocity after first collision or second collision. These are the velocities just before first collision, and here when it take collision, this is the line of impact. So here the velocity will become now E times initial velocity. Before collision u sin theta, after collision it will become what? E times u sin theta. Just now we solved the same case. But along the tangent velocity remains constant. So horizontal component remains same, but vertical component changes. The first range, what is the formula? U square sin 2 theta by g, or else you can write it as 2ux uy by g. Then next time, what is the range? R2. 2ux. Ux is u cos theta only, but uy is eu sin theta by g. So E times u square 2 sin theta cos theta is sin 2 theta by g. So what is the next range? E times the first range. So after second collision, what is the next range? R3 equal to E square times R1. This is the way sometimes they will link the questions with free fall, or better to say like kinematics, using the concept of coefficient of restitution or line of impact or collision. So try to understand, which is very important. Now let us come to our actual part, collision. What are all the types of collisions? What kind of questions we can expect based on collisions? So here basically based on the collision there are questions will be asked about. First one, elastic head-on collision. Elastic head-on collision. That means either they move one after the other, like one following the other along the same line, or they approach each other along the same line. That is called elastic head-on collision, one-dimensional collision, simply to say. In this case, if M1 is moving with U1, M2 is moving with U2, then after collision V1, V2 will become M1 minus M2 U1 plus 2 M2 U2 divided by M1 plus M2. And here 2 M1 U1 plus M2 minus M1 U2 whole divided by M1 plus M2. These are the velocities after collision. Here if M1 equal to M2, if M1 equal to M2, then V1 equal to U2, V2 equal to U1. They exchange their velocities. But sometimes one confusion will come, that is they will not mention like perfectly elastic collision. Then you have to take it as perfectly elastic collision and you have to apply. And also you have to remember one more thing, sometimes they will mention the coefficient of restitution value. Then it is not perfectly elastic collision. Then these formulas changes. There is not 1. E is not equal to 1, not equal to 0. Then V1 formula actually M1 minus EM2 U1 plus M2 plus EM2 U2 whole divided by M1 plus M2. And the other formula V2 is M1 plus EM1 U1 plus M2 minus EM1 times U2 whole divided by M1 plus M2. This is all about one-dimensional head-on collision. Basically, they will ask questions based on this. Like, for example, consider the same head-on collision. So, let us take the case like, if M1 is very much greater than M2 and U2 is 0. When heavy body moving with some velocity hit with a small body which is at rest. So here the second term is 0 and m2 is neglected compared to m1, so m2 is neglected. So what will remain? m1 u1 divided by m1, because m2 neglected. So what is v1 will become u1. So the body continue to move with the same velocity, no change in its velocity. Now what about v2? v2 is here, m2 is neglected, so this one is neglected, of course this is completely 0. Now 2 m1 u1, 2 m1 u1, and m2 neglected, here m1, so m1 cancel, how much? 2 u1. So the second body which was at rest, now it moves with double the speed of, like a heavy truck is hitting with a small ball, the ball will fly away. Same thing happens here. Now you take the reverse case. You are running and hitting with the wall. Now your mass is very lesser and the wall is at rest. Then what happens to you? This term is 0. But now m1 is neglected. m1 neglected means minus m2 u1. Minus m2 u1 and here m2. So minus u1. The faster you go and hit the wall, and with the same velocity you will return back, means you will fall back. That's why minus. You are coming back with the same velocity. You go and hit slowly, then you will come back slowly. You go and hit fastly, then you will come back fastly, quickly. Similarly, what happens to the wall? It almost remains at rest. That's why if you consider this term is 0. Now m1 is neglected, almost negligible. So the whole numerator is approximately how much? 0. So v2 is 0. Now let us consider one more kind of question based on same thing. Like consider m1 moving with u1. Now it took collision with m2 which is at rest. Now the condition is not like masses are having huge difference, just normal bodies. Now what is the initial kinetic energy? Half m1 u1 square. Then what is the kinetic energy of the second body v2? u2 0 means 2 m1 u1 by m1 plus m2. So what is its kinetic energy? Let's take k dash or k2 dash. So k2 dash will become half m2 v2 square. So this much of energy got transferred to this one. So they can ask you like how much kinetic energy got transferred to the second body. At the same time they can also ask you what is the fraction of kinetic energy change for the first body. This is initial kinetic energy. What is the final kinetic energy for the first body? Half m1 v1 square. What is the formula for v1? Just now we have taken. In that, if you take u2 term 0, then m1 minus m2 times u1 by m1 plus m2. So what is the final kinetic energy? Half m1 v1 square. So what is the change in kinetic energy? Final minus initial. Now what is the fractional change in kinetic energy? Delta k by k1. This you will get fractional change in kinetic energy. They will also ask this kind of questions. So this is all about what? Head-on elastic collision. Similarly, they can also ask the questions based on head-on inelastic collision. Inelastic collision, in that perfectly inelastic collision, the most important one. So what is the meaning of perfectly inelastic collision? Perfectly inelastic collision. E0 nothing but V1 equal to V2. After the collision they move with one common velocity. So M1 moving with U1, M2 moving with U2, and they collided and stick to each other, and now they are moving with one common velocity. Then M1 plus M2 into V, final linear momentum equal to M1 U1 plus M2 U2. So that what is the final common velocity? M1 U1 plus M2 U2 whole divided by m1 plus m2. This is what the final common velocity. If they are moving initially in the opposite direction, then you will take m1 u1 minus m2 u2. So don't forget to consider the direction. And here they will also ask, as it is inelastic collision, there is a loss in kinetic energy delta k. That loss in kinetic energy is final minus initial. That is half m1 plus m2 v square minus half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square, which will come half m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into u1 minus u2 whole square. This is the loss in kinetic energy after collision. So this is what basically they will ask. Simple questions, simple logical questions will be asked based on this collision part. So try to remember the formulas. Most of the time they will ask the questions based on formula based. Otherwise you will get the questions based on conservation of linear momentum, concept of coefficient of restitution, or concept of line of impact, as we discussed in the beginning. So this is about the collision part. So try to practice each and every question with proper understanding, then decide what is the velocities before collision, what are the velocities after collision, and how to apply conservation of linear momentum, and how to take care of proper direction of linear momentum. Then you will get the things in a proper manner. So this is all about collisions, and I hope you understand few questions which have given in previous entrances, and one of the logical and important model. So consider here the very first question. There are three bodies. Let's take three spheres. They are just sliding. Now all collisions are perfectly inelastic and mass is given m 2m. So here the situation given is the first one given some high speed u so that it can collide with b, because you should not ask that it may not reach that. So don't consider that. Simply you consider that you have given some speed such that it can take inelastic collision with this. Then what they are asking is find the percentage change in kinetic energy after the final collision with this last mass. All the collisions are perfectly inelastic. Now you take the collision between m and m, first A and B. So between A and B, if you consider, the speed after the collision will become, after perfectly inelastic collision, m1 v1 m into u plus m2 u2, that is 0 by m plus m. So what is the velocity? U by 2. Now the situation will become like, now these two masses are moving combinedly with this much of speed u by 2. Now they are taking collision with another 2m which is at rest. Now again the collision is inelastic. Now what is the final common velocity? m1 u1 2m u by 2 plus 0 by 2m plus 2m 4m 2 cancel. Now the velocity became u by 4. So v2 is u by 4. Now the initial kinetic energy of the system is half m u square. What is the final kinetic energy of the system? The total mass is moving combinedly now 4m with a speed u by 4 whole square, 2 2s are, or you take it as it is. Now half into 4m into u square by 16. So 4 4s are. So what is the final kinetic energy? 1 by 4 times half m u square. So the final kinetic energy is 1/4 of initial kinetic energy. But what they are asking here? Percentage change. How do you get the percentage change? Final minus initial by initial into 100. It is nothing but kf by ki minus 1 into 100. From here, kf by ki is how much? 1 by 4. Take this ki this side. So kf by ki is 1 by 4. Substitute here. 1 by 4 minus 1 into 100. So how much? Minus 75%. Why? Because minus the decrease in kinetic energy. So 75% of the kinetic energy is losing in the whole process. Like this, logical and formula based. We are using the formula, we are using the concept also. Such kind of questions you can expect in the entrance point of view. Ninth. So similarly, let's take the second question. It is bit difficult, I think, compared to the first one. It is like, understand the question first. A block having some mass 0.03 kg dropped from certain height. What is the height? 100 meter. And at the same time, simultaneously, one bullet got fired from the bottom, from the ground upward along the same line with a speed 100 meter per second. Then at one moment the bullet will hit the block and it gets embedded. Then after getting embedded inside, to what maximum height it will reach? That is above the initial point they are asking. Now let's take, this is ground and this is the point where the block is dropped. Now the block reached suppose here and this reached here. So that this is the point they met each other suppose. Then first question, after what time they collide each other? Consider the relative velocity concept, which is very easier. What is the initial relative velocity? This is dropping 0. What is its initial velocity? 100. So initial relative velocity 100. Both are moving under gravity, so the relative acceleration will become what? 0. Because both are having same acceleration. Then what is the motion will become relative motion? Uniform motion. So what is the time taken? Relative time. Distance covered by speed. Relative speed. So what is the distance they covered together? 100 by what is the initial relative speed? 100. So what is the time taken to reach each other? Hit each other? 1 second. So in 1 second it will travel some distance. How much is this distance? It is falling freely under gravity. So in t time, how much distance it will cover? Half g t square. So g you take approximately 10. T is how much? 1. So how much distance it will cover? 5 meter. And it will cover how much? 95 meter. So the block covered 5 meter, the bullet covered 95 meter. Then here they are taking place collision. Now just before hitting the collision, this is the block velocity. Let's take u1. It is falling freely means what is the velocity after some time? V equal to u plus at, u0, so gt. So gt, g is 10, t is 1. So 10 meter per second. What is the velocity just before hitting for the bullet? Let's take that is u2. V equal to u plus at. U is 100. A is minus g because upward motion, minus 10 into 1. So 90 meter per second. So the velocities before hitting each other is 10 meter per second and 90 meter per second. Now they are taking perfectly inelastic collision because the bullet got embedded inside. So directly you can take it as what type of collision? Inelastic collision. Then what is the final common velocity? m1 u1 minus m2 u2 by m1 plus m2, or m2 u2 minus m1 u1. Why? Because the bullet is going up, so that is positive direction. The block is coming down, that is negative direction. That's why I have taken m2 u2 minus m1 u1 by m1 plus m2. Now m2 bullet mass 0.02 into what is the velocity? 90 minus m1 block velocity 0.03. What is its velocity? 10 divided by 0.03 plus 0.02. So what is the velocity after collision? this is 1.8 minus this is 0.3 whole divided by 0.05. So this will become 1.5 by 0.05, so that point cancel. So 150 by 5. So the velocity will become 30 meter per second. Now with this velocity they will go to some maximum height. What is the maximum height formula? V square by 2g. Consider now the journey started here just after collision with a speed 30 meter per second. So what is the height they can reach from this point? V square by 2g. 30 into 30 by 2 into 10 cancel. 2 15s are 15 3s are 45 meter. So from this point 45 meter. But this is how much? 5 meter. So above the initial point, what distance they will reach? 40 meter. So this way you can understand. So one step, second step, third step. There are step-wise calculation is important because it is not that simple question. So when the question is little bit more logical and more difficult, try to do it in step-wise. Here relative velocity concept is included. Here the collision concept is included. Here the motion under gravity is included. This kind of the mixing of different concepts is like one of the typical type of questions which we can get in entrance point of view. So please try to understand and try to practice them so that you will get the ideas how to apply physics in solving questions. So I hope all of you understood and you will practice. So thank you so much.